controversy over the movie Top Gun Maverick and the copyright issues they're having and the rights issues they're having with the author of the original article on which the movie Top Gun was supposedly based. Everyone's got an opinion on it, including me, and you'll hear it on today's episode of More Commas. So, Top Gun Maverick is a hit. Good for Tom Cruise. I liked it, even though he's kind of weird with that Scientology thing. It's a great movie. It's very entertaining, but there is controversy, and the right is saying it's a left-wing conspiracy, and the left wing is supposedly not happy because it's not woke, and all of this nonsense. Everyone's got an opinion on this, and I do too. So just as a shortcut to what's going on. Back in the 80s, someone wrote an article about the Top Gun program that the U.S. Naval Aviation system had to improve the skill of their pilots. And that was came out, got a lot of interest. Some bigwigs in Hollywood, more likely Paramount, picked it up, and eventually it was the inspiration for the movie Top Gun. 30 years go by after the movie was a hit, and they've made another movie, and now the estate of the author of the original article are going after Paramount with lawyers in order to get a little money from it, because after all, it's their feeling and their contention that the article was the inspiration for the movie. No article, no Top Gun, no Top Gun Maverick. And the right is saying, well, they're just this is part of the left-wing conspiracy to suppress the movie, and there are fans saying, oh, they're just a bunch of money grubbers. But there is something going on here that maybe you're not aware of that I am as a writer, and here's what it is. There's a joke in Hollywood, and it goes like this. And I'll be sensitive, culturally sensitive when I tell it. There is a girl of certain ethnic persuasion who is going to Hollywood, and she told everyone, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get ahead in Hollywood, and she slept with the screenwriter. That's a hilarious joke in Hollywood because screenwriters have no power, and if Hollywood can make movies without writers, they would. Writers are persona non grata out there, and what you're seeing is part of Paramount's history. This is not the first time they've pulled something like this. Just ask Winston Groom. If that name sounds familiar, and maybe it should, he wrote a novel about a simple man who just kind of wandered through life, and Robert Zemeckis got a hold of it and made just a little insignificant film called Forrest Gump out of it, starring, of course, Tom Hanks. Zemeckis turned it into a special effects spectacular, as he is wont to do, which is amazing since the novel didn't even touch on all the historical connections. It was just kind of this simpleton story. I know because I'm one of the few people besides Zemeckis that actually read the book. But when they cut the deal with Winston Groom, they said, "Oh yeah, we'll give you points, which is a percentage on the net of the movie. Which if Hollywood offers you net on a movie, that's their way of saying screw you, you're a writer." So the movie goes on to make something back at the time it was released, $350 million worldwide, which is pretty spectacular for back then. And Winston Groom got nothing. Well, he hired an attorney, and they kind of did some digging into Paramount, and Paramount's claim was that Forrest Gump did not make any money. And they were able to open the books and say, well, yeah, we kind of had all these other movies that were bombs, and we just wrote the costs off against what Forrest Gump made. Therefore, Forrest Gump did not make any money. And that's Hollywood bookkeeping, and that's, like I said, pretty typical of the way everyone out there treats writers. So my take on this is that this is just Paramount being Paramount. And I know they did The Godfather and some other great movies, but they're jerks. What can I say? They need to just do the right thing and say, you know what? There's a line we can trace here from that article to the original movie to the sequel, and we're going to do right by and make some money. Now, they did sort of do right by Winston Groom. No, they didn't open their checkbooks and pay him directly out of what Forrest Gump allegedly made or didn't make, because that would have set a precedent, of course, which would have been really dangerous for them and the way they deal with writers. But instead, they had Winston Groom write a novel that was a sequel to Forrest Gump, and then they bought the rights for that for however much money that they thought was going to be fair, and everything went away, including the sequel to Forrest Gump. Now, I don't know if Winston Groom ever wanted to or planned on writing a novel that was a sequel, but the fact that he had to do that to recover some money is unfathomable. But stuff like that happens. So yeah, my take on this whole thing is it's not a conspiracy. These people aren't grubbing money or anything. There's a line and there's precedent, and Paramount needs to do the right thing and pay the writer. And while we are at it, Paramount, tell Disney to pay Alan Dean Foster for Splinter in the Mind's Eye. That's a whole other thing too. So lighten up, Hollywood. Treat your writers right. I'm Joe Clifford Faust. This is More Commas.